Welcome back to Hyperlemon GT. Today we're in Thailand at a car show called Das Treffen. It's basically Southeast Asia's biggest Porsche meet. I think there was 562 Porsches here from all over Southeast Asia. So Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam, Thailand, all meeting here in Bangkok. The video, we're going to split it into 3 sections: modified Porsches, special edition Porsches, and Carrera GT. Kicking it off with the modified Porsches, we have this very slammed 997 Cabriolet with a beautiful red interior, aftermarket seats. I mean, that's all been done custom. Very, very nicely done. We have a couple of standard 992 GT3s, one in Ruby Stone Red, which I think is a very cool color. Back to the modified cars, we have a 993 RWB car. To me, this looks very much like a 993 GT2, but on steroids. Everything just a bit extra, you know? The arches are wider, additional flicks here and there, wider stance, properly cool car. Now we move on to this 964. Done similarly to a Singer, but it's clearly not a Singer because Singers don't have the bolted on arches, but it looks very cool, very nicely done. Then we have another standard car. So this is a Targa, a 993. Doesn't look like a Targa though, right? It just looks like a 911 with a glass roof, but this is how Targas were in the 993. Then we have a Tech Art Cayman 987. So wide arches at the front, wide arches at the rear, and this quintessential Tech Art wing. Looks a little bit like a 997 GT2 wing. Now, another RWB car, this time in silver, light pod on the front, yellow stripe on the front. I think this looks absolutely excellent. And apparently, these actually keep standard suspension setup. It's just really deep dished offset wheels that give it that big stance, but apparently they drive okay. And here is another RWB. This time we have a 997 with a big whale tail on the back. This one was actually done very recently. I think it was 7 months ago. And I spoke to the owner and he told me he'd driven all the way from Kuala Lumpur. That is a 2-day drive. On one of the days, they spent about 16 hours driving because there was floods in the south of Thailand and they had to do a massive detour, but it didn't deter them. They committed, went all in, and they ended up at this show. Now here we have another 987, this one fairly standard with wide rims. We're moving on now to a different section. This is the special edition Porsches. So kicking it off with a pretty big one. One of my favorite Porsches, the 993 GT2. I thought they made more than 57 of them, but nonetheless, this is a pretty rare car. And this one is an original and just fantastic. I might take a 993 turbo, remove weight, remove 4-wheel drive, give it more power, and you've got let's say an edgy car. There we have a 991 Turbo Exclusive Series and a 991 50th Anniversary. Then next to that we have a Boxster. I think it's basically a launch edition Boxster Spider, so a version 000. Next to that we have a Cayman R, and next to that we have the ultimate 911. the 997 GT3 RS 4.0. In my opinion, the greatest 911 ever made, and this one is in the best spec as well. Ceramics, white, 918 buckets with red accents inside. That there is peak 911. Next to that, we have a pretty rare car. We're going to come back to that in a moment. Just quickly panning past the 911R. And then we'll sweep round, have a quick view of what's going on. And then we come to this. This is a 997 edition 918 Spider Turbo S. This is basically a car you are offered if you purchased a 918 Spider. So you can see some kind of crossovers there, basically the acid green accents on the seats and also on the brake calipers. Here we have the best 991, the 911R, and next to that a really cool car, a 964 Speedster. What I like about this is they really actually lowered the windscreen line, give it a really low roof line. It looks super cool. There is a chap being interviewed, seems very happy about that. And behind him we have a 991 Speedster, basically a GT3 without a roof. This one, if you're not Thai, you won't know what it is, most likely, because this is a 25th anniversary of Porsche being in Thailand edition 911. Long name, but cool. You can see there, that is not a racetrack, that is the outline of Thailand. Next to that, we have another 25th anniversary, but this time 25th anniversary of the Boxster, and it kind of takes some of the design cues of the original concept Boxster. In particular, the wheels really stand out. Then we have a 997 Speedster, and next to that, a 992 Sport Classic. Now there was no 997 Sport Classic here, but I have seen one of those in Thailand before. Here we have kind of the grandfather of the RSs. This is a 1973 Carrera RS, again, original car. And here we have a GT2 RS Club Sport. Basically a car for rich people who can't really drive that well to go really quickly. So you can probably lap a track quicker than a cup car in that. There we have a 911 ST and a 911R with aftermarket wheels. Now this section is pretty interesting. So they're all cars from Singapore. This one, beautiful martini livery. And behind that, I think this is a 911 GT3 Touring. And just for context, Singapore is about 2,000 miles away, and they'd made the journey specifically for this event. We had other cars from Vietnam, Malaysia as well, so it really is people from all over Southeast Asia coming to Thailand for this event. Here's a GT3 RS 991 aftermarket wheels and a GT4, both with Boss written on them. Is that a clothing brand? Is it a car club? I don't really know. And this one has made the journey and he didn't clean it before the event, which I think is really cool. So that's basically 2,000 miles of dirt and grime coming from Singapore to Bangkok. Now we have a Carrera GT. This one participated in the Gumball 3000, and I'm going to be quiet now.
Oh, has he got the key? He's going for it, I think. That's how you get a crowd, isn't it? Turn on a Carrera GT. I need a bit of rev. probably make you jump when it revs because it's so quick, you know.
So he's basically warming it up because he doesn't want to rev it from cold, which makes sense. So we're going to do a quick walk around of this car. So as I said, did the Gumball 3000 most recently from Vietnam all the way through to Singapore. So this car is basically 3,000 miles, not cleaned at all, and he's keeping it like this, from what I can tell, for the foreseeable future. The owner of this car, he actually owns a fairly large real estate company in Thailand, and he loves his Porsches. He is building a Porsche condominium which starts at like $10 million in Bangkok. He has also created a cafe called Kyrgyzstan in the center of Bangkok, where you can come and look at Porsches, you can come and have a cocktail, coffee, etc. So this guy really loves his Porsches, and he uses it. I mean, 3,000 miles in essentially a $1.5 million car. In Thailand was probably more than that because they had 300% import tax originally on these cars. So epic guy. More people should use their Carrera GT like this. Now for revs. And with that, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and catch you all next time. Bye bye.